I think I want to speak to that person and give them hope because they can support themselves. Um, that's not to say that their PCOS will disappear, but it's to tell them that they can support themselves on this journey, like moving forward. So I want them to have hope. Like, I think that's the biggest thing because sometimes people tell you something and it takes that hope away. Whereas
Mm.
I want to give people that hope back and say that there is another way. There is a time when you will feel better in yourself. And it's just about, like you mentioned before, like really taking stock and listening to your body and listening to what you need. And doing things very sort of incrementally, like slowly, and making some small changes over time. And,
Mhm.
making sure that it feels comfortable for you. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is hope because I didn't have that hope and I wanted to get that hope back. And
Mhm.
I did. And I want to give other people that hope too.
Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to PCOS Unfiltered. I'm your host, Lindsie, and today's episode is one I think so many of you are going to feel seen in because we're talking about what it's like to be told something is wrong with your body, but not being given real answers on what to do next. Today, I'm joined by Natalie Helman, and her story is one that so many women with PCOS will relate to. From irregular cycles as a teenager to painful ovarian cysts, hospital visits, and being told that her fertility journey might be difficult, she found herself stuck in that space so many of you know all too well, frustrated, overwhelmed, and searching for answers. But what I love about this conversation is where it goes next. Natalie didn't just accept that this was how it had to be. Instead, she began exploring a more holistic path, looking at nutrition, environmental toxins, stress, and how all of these pieces impact our hormones in ways we're often never taught. In this episode, we talk about what PCOS actually looked like for her beyond the typical symptoms, the emotional toll of living with pain, uncertainty, and lack of control, how small intentional changes in food and lifestyle created real shifts in her body, the impact of toxins in everyday products and why it matters more than we think, and one of the biggest themes of all, how to start taking your power back without feeling overwhelmed. And maybe most importantly, we talk about hope. Because if you've ever felt like your diagnosis took that away from you, this episode is here to give it back. As a reminder, the content shared on PCOS Unfiltered is for informational and educational purposes only. The views and opinions expressed by the host and guests are not intended to serve as medical advice. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or treatment plan. The information shared is based on personal experience and expert interviews and is not a substitute for professional medical guidance. Now let's dive in. Here is my conversation with Natalie Helman. So I want to transition a little bit because
Mm,
you you also focused on what do I say, all of the other things. So we've talked about, stress, which can come from life, work, family, whatever, right? The
mm,
nutrition side. But then you also have all those other things in our beauty products and our cleaning
mm.
products and, just in our home. Today, I mean, in the modern world, there's so many other things. And like you said, yeah, you have to kind of take it one thing, at a time. But for you,
Mm.
you did end up focusing as well on, on those factors going on in your home. So what did you find that worked for you and just how, once you started kind of removing some of those things, how it impacted your hormones as well?
Well, again, I did that as a bit of a kind of slow process
Hmm.
while I was doing the nutrition side. The nutrition was something I was looking at first of all, but then I really did kind of dive deep into the learnings of obviously our skin is our biggest organ. And
Hmm.
so our biggest organ, every single thing we are putting on our body morning, noon, and night, because I think we use something like 25 products before we walk out the door. You know, we wash our
Yeah.
hair, we wash our face, we use moisturizer, we use makeup, we use deodorant. These are all things that are getting absorbed into our body and into our bloodstream and potentially affecting our hormone health if they have nasty chemicals or toxins in. So I really did make sure that I was trying to use products that were cleaner, that were botanically based, that didn't have parabens in, phthalates, sulfates. There are so many added bulking agents and ingredients, like mineral oil is another one, because that's a byproduct of petrol. So we are putting all of these things on our body, and our skin is not able to breathe. So, you know, it is important to start looking at what we're putting on our skin and making sure that we're making cleaner swaps. And so I actually did that with my skincare at the time that I was looking through, I was doing my nutrition work for myself. And I had suffered with years of pigmentation on my forehead. And on my upper lip as well. And I was always told that it was hormonal pigmentation rather than sun damage pigmentation. And the thing is with that, it's harder to get rid of because it's really sort of deep set in your skin. I tried everything under the sun, and nothing worked for me. But when I started to do the elimination program, alongside using and switching out using cleaner skincare products, it disappeared and it has never come back. And I'm quite a naturally freckly person anyway in the sun. And so, you know, even now when I go in the sun, my freckles don't really come out that much. And I know that that's because I'm using better, cleaner skincare products. And that goes as well for my body care as well. Like I'm sure that so many people are you know, a bit more clued up about using deodorants that are aluminium free, because obviously it's very close to our lymph glands, which is close to our breasts. So it's about really making sure that we are putting cleaner products on our skin and on our family's skin as well. You know, I'm really passionate about having cleaner things in my home because I've got a young daughter who's 7, and you know, if I've got lots of toxic chemicals that she's using in the house, it potentially can bring her period on earlier than it should come. And for me, I found that very terrifying when I was reading about certain endocrine disruptors. Same with things like bleachers for the toilet and for kind of cleaning your home. So now I've switched to much cleaner cleaning products that are created with essential oils and still smell good, but actually like clean my house. So it's about thinking about making some cleaner swaps. It's not about everything all at once. It's about slowly. And then another one that I've just started looking at was perfumes, because perfumes also can be incredibly toxic in the sense that, you know, we spray them, they're airborne, so they're always around us. So it's just about looking into what's in those fragrances and making sure that things are created from essential oils or botanicals, without any of the kind of nasty chemical ingredients, synthetics. Basically, try and get rid of the synthetics that are within products.
Yeah. And again, systematically. So like what was maybe the one thing you kind of tackled first as when it comes to for those environmental toxins?
For me, it was skincare was first,
Okay.
because I had that pigmentation and I was curious to see what would happen. And now I have changed my washing powders and my laundry and also dishwasher as well, because we eat off of, you know, our plates. And basically I've seen people eating these toxins that are released from dishwasher tablets. So that was something that was really important to me, because I knew that with some products that were like pots and pans and cups that were my kids, they would have a funny smell or they would smell really chemically. And I knew that they were eating off of those. So I really wanted to make sure that I made that clean swap.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the important thing is, for anybody listening is, yeah, pick one thing first. So
Yeah.
whether you do want to focus on the nutrition or, the environmental side, because I
Hmm.
know even in my journey as well, um, I had autoimmune stuff going on. And so I
Hmm.
tackled the nutrition and I mean, that took, years, like, because it was still ups and downs, as you think you can reintroduce foods and and then your body's like, nope, this is not for you. But yeah, now one of the big things for me is
Mm.
for sure the cleaning products and I haven't worn deodorant now for quite some time. Like I just go deodorant free, actually.
Hmm.
I've actually done an
Hmm.
episode on that
Oh,
as well,
interesting.
because some people think that you can just switch from, your toxic filled deodorant to the natural, and your body actually needs to go through a detox process a lot of the
Mm.
times, before
Mm.
you try the natural stuff. Um, but yeah, laundry detergent, I know, like, is a big one, as well. And I will say too, like one thing I've learned, so I use essential oils, um, but you still have to be cautious with those
Yes.
because
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
there's a few different products out there. Like I use doTERRA. I think Young Living is another one, at least,
Yeah.
here in the States stuff. But um like I always give people the example of lavender, for example. The
Mm.
lavender that I use from doTERRA, you can actually ingest. But if you go to the store, a lot of the lavender essential oils you buy in the store say flammable. So they're clearly not pure essential,
Yeah.
oils.
Yes.
Is there anything you look for like with the more natural products that you're using, like as far as is it third party tested or just, do you make sure that you read the ingredient label to kind of make sure all those yeah, the prime nasty things are out of there.
Yeah. So I actually I found Arbonne products. I know that they're in the US as well. And for me, I really loved how transparent they were about their ingredients policy and that they banned over 2,000 toxic chemicals and ingredients, which is higher than anywhere else in the EU. Um, so for me, I fell in love with their ethos, and I knew that they didn't have any bulking agents in, and they're also formulated without dairy and without gluten. So again, those can be allergens for some people. There are plenty of people who are celiacs or they can't have gluten, or they can't have dairy or they're allergic, but they might be cutting that out of their diet, but they could be putting that on their skin in their skincare because there could be traces of that. So I really liked that it had that ethos behind it. And yes, it is tested, clinically tested and scientifically proven and all botanically based. And it's also a B Corp as well. So I really loved that it had that sustainability focus for people and for the planet. And now I really do look for that with brands that I use. I also use doTERRA oils, and because I know that they're very, very good quality and they're sustainably sourced. So it's about really making sure that I am, a consumer of a product that I know is doing the best it possibly can for people, but for the planet as well. And yeah, just making sure that I'm using things that have um, that don't have the nasty chemicals in, really. I mean, mineral oil again is a really big one that has been in lots and lots of skincare products, and it's not necessary. It's a bulking agent. So that was probably something that I really started looking at when I first looked at my journey. But yeah, it started with skincare for me. And then, in more recent years, it's been more about looking at what's happening in my home and But it is a slow process, and it's one of those things that I think the most important thing is to look at yourself first with
Mhm.
regards to the nutrition and the mindset work. And then after that, then you can start looking at all of the other sort of avenues within your home. I mean, we can't protect ourselves from every toxin
Exactly.
out there because the
Yeah.
environment is full of those. But there's some things that we can do that can help. So
Hmm.
it's just about kind of feeling like you might have that little bit of control over your choices with regards to what you're using for yourself and in your home.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and was Arbonne the like first thing that you did kind of get into, or had you tried other things? Because I know for me too, sometimes, and again, everybody might have different experiences just with how their skin is and how they're reacting to things because like makeup, for example,
Mm.
sometimes it's hard to kind of find like the makeup, the good natural makeup that that you actually like and that you feel like actually does what the toxic stuff was doing for you.
Yeah, so my mum was a beautician, so I always spent money on really good quality skincare. So that was
Mhm.
something that she really kind of taught me very well. So I always knew that I knew that I wanted to invest in very good quality skincare. So that was one thing I did learn that was really important in my journey. However, I did use lots of different brands and try them, and some of them just weren't for me. Like I've got quite sensitive skin. Um, and the other thing is we can use lots of natural products like avocado and kind of plant-based things, but they've also
Mhm.
got to work. I'm coming up to 41 this year. I want something that's going to help my aging process and help my skin be more supple and more hydrated. So it's about being able to have that good mix of the two things. But just going back to makeup, because makeup is a really important one. I was very allergic to a lot of different makeups that I had tried over the years, and I just couldn't really move past that. So I just kept using the the makeup that I was pretty allergic to. And then I started to look at various different sort of vegan makeups and other makeups that were kind of didn't have the toxic chemicals in. And so again, some of them worked for me and some of them didn't. But it's just about finding the makeup that is almost like an extension of the skincare that you use. And so, yeah, I do use the Arbonne makeup now because I know that it works really well with my skin because of the skincare
Mhm.
range. But there's some other brands out there that I also use with regards to makeup, just because I really enjoy how they look and they have different offerings as well. So, you've got to find what works for you. And makeup often can be full of toxic chemicals and animal byproducts and all sorts of not very nice things. Um, you can put the best skincare on your face in the world and then use some toxic makeup, and that can bring you out in a in a in spots or a rash or
Yeah.
something. So it's about finding a harmony between those two, and also really kind of taking good care of your skin, I think, before kind of putting makeup on and feeling really comfortable in your own skin. And
Mhm.
and I know that so many people as well suffer with hormonal acne, cystic acne as well, if they're on their PCOS journey. And that can be really, can really affect their confidence, and, how they feel from the inside out. So I think that that's also part of that hormone support and that sort of gut healing, reducing that inflammation can also really help support your skin health as well from the inside out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the things to take away there is, and you even said it, your skin's, I've said it on so many other episodes too, but your skin is the largest organ. And
Mm,
so, yes, you're reacting to the makeup, but you also have to understand, like, you have to listen to what your body is trying to tell you.
yeah.
Is there something else going on here? A lot of the times, Because like again, in my journey up and down, I thought I'd be fine, and then like I'd start reacting to something, and
Hmm.
come to find out my gut was a mess again, So a lot of the times, like your body is trying to talk to you when you're having some of these reactions. I mean, I even went at one point, I think I shared this when we first talked, but honey, I was washing my face with honey, because it's a good, like natural kind of antibacterial
Hmm.
and everything. And yeah, it was maybe a little bit of pain at times, but I was like, you know what? I am just done with all of these commercially, produced products. And so, yeah, I started doing the research myself, and
Mm.
it definitely calmed my skin. And then, I have since kind of reincorporated. I still make my own skincare for,
Hmm.
for a few things that I use. So, um, you mentioned the avocado. I think I did the avocado like face mask at some point.
Yeah, an avocado face mask is
It,
amazing, but it's just
it
like the need the added bit for the wrinkles for me.
is. Yeah.
But it is very
Yeah.
soothing and calming, and
Yeah.
I know that honey is really good, and also like
Hmm.
I've done a few kind of turmeric
Oh,
face
yeah.
masks as well because that's a big
Yes.
anti-inflammatory. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I think the key is just listening, like
Yeah.
if something is going on there, then yeah, you have to listen and say, okay, is there something else deeper,
Hmm.
as well? Like, am I reacting to, something else in that product, or is my body just trying to tell me something, in that moment? Uh, as we kind of start wrapping up, um, if someone has just been diagnosed with PCOS, feeling anxious, um, I know, like I tell people, pick one thing to start with, like we've talked about, but what would you want them to hear? What would you want to be kind of the big takeaway, from this conversation?
I think I want to speak to that person and give them hope because they can support themselves. Um, that's not to say that their PCOS will disappear, but it's to tell them that they can support themselves on this journey, like moving forward. So I want them to have hope. Like, I think that's the biggest thing because sometimes people tell you something and it takes that hope away. Whereas
Mm,
I want to give people that hope back and say that there is another way. There is a time when you will feel better in yourself. And it's just about, like you mentioned before, like really taking stock and listening to your body and listening to what you need. And doing things very sort of incrementally, like slowly, and making some small changes over time. And,
mhm,
making sure that it feels comfortable for you. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is hope because I didn't have that hope and I wanted to get that hope back. And
mhm.
I did. And I want to give other people that hope too.
Yeah, I love that. Because I mean, that's, what the podcast is about, really. And whether that means, sure, like if you're still on birth control or whatever, you can still be doing all these other things
Yeah.
and know that, that you can come out on the other side of this. And like you said, when people give them the diagnosis a lot of the times, and whether that is a diagnosis of PCOS
Mm,
or anything else, they tend to take away that hope. So
mm,
I think it's amazing, hearing it from, from you. You've been on your own journey,
mm.
and just knowing that there is hope out there, hope for healing, and that's going to look differently for everybody, but
Yeah.
it can be done. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And, that's something that I feel that I would have wanted someone to say to me. So I think that's something that I want to say to other people. But yeah,
Mhm.
having that
Yeah.
hope is really important.
Yeah. I love that. So, very last question is, how can people find you? I'll put everything in the show notes as well, but but where's the best place to find you and connect with you?
So probably on Instagram. So that's really where I have my kind of lifestyle information about my wellness and being a PCOS wellness hormone advocate. And that is at neat, NEAT _ Natalie. So come and find me there. My DMs are always open. I love having conversations with people about PCOS because, as you can probably tell, I'm incredibly passionate about it. And it's something that I talk about a lot. Like, it is really important to me. So yeah, I would love to hear from you, and please do get in touch, of course.
Yes. Well, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your story, your knowledge, your hope with everybody. So I really, really appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Oh, thank you so much, Lindsie, and I really, really appreciate this time with you as well and having a chat. Thank you so much for having me on.
If there's one thing I want you to take away from today's episode, it's this: you are not stuck. No matter what you've been told, no matter how long you've been dealing with symptoms, there is always space to support your body, to understand it better, and to begin creating change one step at a time. I loved what Natalie shared about hope, because that's really what this journey is all about. Not perfection, not doing everything all at once, but choosing every day to listen to your body a little more and support it a little better. And that might start with something simple: adding more whole foods, taking a few minutes to regulate your nervous system, or just getting curious about what your body is trying to tell you. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. You just have to start. If you love this episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next. Share this episode with someone who might need a little extra hope today, and leave a review so we can keep spreading this message to more women who need it. And as always, if you're ready to go deeper into your own healing journey, all of my programs, resources, and ways to work together are linked in the show notes. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you on the next episode of PCOS Unfiltered. Nourish, heal, thrive.